Fox Business was first to report that Trump's former CFTC chairman, Giancarlo, is a lead contender for the role of White House crypto czar. It is a new position that could help usher in a new era of pro-crypto policy in Washington. And Giancarlo, the author of the book Crypto Dad, joins us now on set with Charlie Gasparino. Charlie, take it away.
Go from crypto dad to crypto czar. How does that happen?
Well, we'll have to see how that happens. I think there's a lot of consideration being undertaken right now in Mar-a-Lago is exactly how to get Trump's crypto agenda done and what are the right pieces and what are the right people to make that happen.
And I mean, what's being floated is a plan, a panel of kind of outside advisors to help push regulation, advise various parts of government. It seems all, and you would sit at the top of it, at least according to some reporter reported that somewhere. I don't know her name. Maybe it's Ellie Terrett, maybe?
Okay. Well, a great producer and a great reporter as well.
Yeah, and I think I might have shared a byline on that one. It seems amorphous at this point. Is it? I mean, is there something concrete here?
Well, Charlie, it actually goes back to a speech that Donald Trump gave in Nashville in July, laying out a whole series of initiatives to, as he put it, then make the United States the crypto capital of the world.
Right.
And included in that was a crypto council, was included the ability to self-custody your own crypto, was included a Bitcoin reserve or a crypto reserve. So it was a number of initiatives laid out.
But do we have anything in paper?
Well, see, these things are hard to do. So, for example, think about the type of people that would serve on that. They're people that have built crypto businesses, that have developed crypto coins, and yet government employees have to do disclosure of all of their wealth, of all their holdings. Have to right now under a Biden era executive order or a government ethics order, they can't hold crypto, so they have to divest. So, is that going to be a structure where they become government employees, or probably more likely?
So we're not even there yet.
So a lot of thought needs to go into how this is structured to achieve President Trump's promises.
How much do you talk to Trump about crypto?
Well, I had the delight of working with President Trump during my first term. I haven't spoken to Trump since the election. But he's very active on these things. There's a lot of communication around the edges, as you know how these things work.
What do you think turned him on crypto? I mean, I remember Donald Trump calling it, I don't want to put words in his mouth, a scam or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you think turned him?
You know what?
Did Barron Trump turn him? Like, did his son turn him?
So, Charlie, I'll tell you, in my experience with the Trump administration the first time around, every time my agency would have communications with the White House, every conversation began and ended with the same question. What are you guys doing to get us to 4% economic growth? The one thing that drives Donald Trump is the belief that all the mess we're in terms of our debt, mountain of debt we're under, the only way out is through economic growth. And I think what you're hearing now is his commitment to crypto, but also AI and other innovations. How do we turbocharge the United States economy?
Someone turned him that crypto could be a road to that 3% economic growth.
And I think...
And who was that? Was it Barron?
Well, I think Barron played a role in that. But you've got J.D. Vance, you've got Vivek Ramaswamy, you've got a lot of people around them that really get this.
You were up for SEC chair. I mean, the name floated out there. You said you didn't want it because you didn't want to clean up the mess, Gary Gensler's various messes. He's the current SEC chair. How bad is the mess that Gary Gensler left behind?
So I know this from personal experience because, as you know, I followed him at the CFTC. There was Tim Maston that followed him, but the mess he had created during his time there was there, and it was a mess. Talent had left the agency, some of the talent you rely on for the agency's daily activities. There was the agency had unionized following his departure because they felt so mistreated, and had reached an federal impasse panel because there was no agreement. One thing I'm very proud of is in my 2.5 years at the agency as chairman, I was able to reach the first collective bargaining agreement in the history of the agency,
do you think
cleaning up that mess.
What do you think the new SEC chairman will have to clean up?
Perhaps even worse than I found at the CFTC. Talent has left. You've got what's left are dead enders, people that don't want to come in the office. I understand the SEC, they're required to be in the office 1 day per pay period.
Really?
Once every 2 weeks.
Government employees are calling it in.
Calling it in, right? How can you get all the policy initiatives that need to be done when you've got a workforce that comes in the office 1 day a week? So they've got union issues. They've got workforce issues. They've got talent issues. They've overreached. The SEC, I think for the first time in its history, certainly the first time in the past few decades, was sanctioned by a federal court for lying to the court.
Well, that's amazing.
Do you know what that does to undermine the dignity and the morale of that as a place to work?
And let's be real clear. It's an investor protection agency that essentially went into woke politics when we talk about environmental disclosures and things like that.
And politicized. I mean, a lot of Gary Genser's direct reports were people that had been involved in Trump investigations, Trump prosecutions. Now, they may feel justified in that, but they don't have a place there for them to be hired at the SEC, which has to be impartial.
Who do you think will be the next SEC chair?
I hope it is someone that has both institutional knowledge of the building, but a deep commitment to innovation and the crypto agenda.
Who?
Well, there's been some names circulated. I'd like to suggest my former law school classmate Paul Atkins. I think would be he was a former commissioner.
There's a reporter, I think her name is Ellie Terrett, that might have reported that.
I think she has, and I think
it was me. I'm not giving her credit for that one.
I think you both may be close to the truth on this one.
Kevin Hassett at NEC. That was
fabulous.
Around today. You think it's going to happen?
I don't know if it's going to happen. I've heard the same reports. But if it does happen, Kevin would be fabulous.
Trump has made a lot of promises to the crypto industry, making us the crypto capital of the world, implementing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Can he deliver on that?
Well, this is why I do think a crypto czar is critically important, because there's a lot of promises, as you mentioned, and they're across the board. It's not just the SEC chair does this. You need tax writers to make sure that the moratorium on capital gains taxes on U.S. crypto that he's promised is done. You're going to need the White House counsel's office to write the executive orders to end what they call choke point 2.0, the debanking of crypto. You're going to need somebody to run this crypto council.
And you think he'll do it?
Oh, I think he's committed to do it because it's part of his overall. Look, Trump wants to create the second industrial revolution in America.
And he thinks crypto is one of the pathways.
Part of it, well, along with nanotechnology, AI, quantum computing, biotechnologies. If we could go from where we've been the last few years, which resistance to innovation, to really furthering innovation, we might be able to get to that 4.5% growth rate and get us out of our debt problems.
That's a great point. There's a huge case in front of the federal courts right now, brought by the SEC. It's the Ripple XRP case that Ripple violated essentially securities laws by issuing XRP. It's deemed part of that issuance was deemed a security, part of it wasn't. SEC is appealing.
Yes.
There's a Trump SEC coming in. Are they going to drop the case, you think?
So, Charlie, as you know, I wrote a definitive law review article before that case was brought, arguing that XRP was not a security subject to the SEC. It turned out that the judge who ruled in that case sided with the view I'd expressed. Half of it.
Right.
I would recommend that it's time for regulatory agencies to drop a lot of these cases where they've lost at the trial court.
If you were a betting man, would they drop the XRP case?
I think they should. And
will they?
I would bet they would.
That's amazing.
Quick question. Pennsylvania, one of the states that are thinking about putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. What do you make about states putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. So Trump proposed a Bitcoin stockpile, as you know, not a reserve, but a stockpile. It's a subtle difference.
Okay.
Countries have been stockpiling commodities since the dawn of time. We stockpile oil. We used to stockpile gold. China stockpiles rebar and copper and soybeans. Countries stockpile precious commodities as the world's first digital commodity.
Do they have the financial wherewithal, though, to manage that on a balance sheet?
I'd have to look into Pennsylvania's wherewithal, but I do think it makes sense. I think it makes sense for the United States. I think it's a very forward-looking idea.
You know, are you worried that the speculation in the coin has outpaced the technology of the blockchain? Because the blockchain is the transformational technology, right? The coin is the facilitator. It's like the juice that goes through the system, but you need a system. The system, I still haven't bought a slice of pizza with Bitcoin yet, or I don't know any. I mean, what's going on?
Charlie, you and I are the same vintage. We're old enough to remember the dot-com bubble. And in the dot-com bubble, prices got ahead of the underlying technology. It wasn't that people didn't want to engage in e-commerce. They didn't want to do it using dial-up modems, and they didn't want to do it putting their credit card information to a dodgy website. It took the arrival of 4G and 5G technology, took the arrival of PayPal and other utilities, took the arrival of Amazon delivery to make e-commerce a reality. The price always gets ahead of the underlying technology, but then the underlying technology catches up.
We are totally out of time, but we love having you. Thank you both, Charlie Gasparino and Chris Giancarlo. Thank you.